with the esteemed team of Swindon Borough Council and team have delivered today's conference. And what I'd like to do is firstly thank the people who helped deliver the conference, Alison and Janet to name a couple, but also to thank all of the table hosts who've had a really challenging job handling perhaps 10 or 15 people with all their own views, and that's part of it being a sort of special event. So if I could just ask us all to put our hands together for all the great people. Well, I think today's been a different sort of conference. It's been a different way of asking questions and engaging. And it goes back to some of the survey report that Daniel had brought to us today. You people are in voluntary and community work, as I am, because actually it's our basic positive human nature to help others, to help our neighbours. And I think that's something why we're all doing it. And clearly from how many of us have our both hands up, that's the unpaid and also working, most of us here are in that boat, and that's terrific. It bodes well for the future of the town. Gavin's graph, if you remember the one where demand was going up and sort of the sort of available funding was going down and trust was hovering somewhere. For me, that's a scale of the opportunity that we all face. I think the council's being particularly brave in the way it's throwing away the old rule book. And okay, it's going to take them some time to really throw it away. It's fine for Gavin as the chief honcho standing up here saying, we're going to change everything. But we deal with the people a couple of tiers down from Gavin, 3 or 4 tiers down from Gavin. And he's got to get that culture working right the way through the council. I'm confident they will, because I've seen a significant change, I'm sure as you have, in the way the council employees are. They actually, I feel now, are much more interested in an issue in your locality, in your street, in your neighbourhood. I mean, the street lights went out, 2 street lights went out, they were fixed in 3 days. I think that's quite remarkable. Somebody somewhere cares, and I think that's an important thing. So if we can take a sort of positive view, and I heard it on 2 tables today about, let's not think about the history of the problems we've had in the past. And if I steal some words that Steve Henderson mentioned, he said the truth and reconciliation that South Africa went through was a remarkable time in changing people's attitudes. Because you think about the apartheid and the discrimination and things that went on there, and that whole country has moved forward because they did that process. And I guess Swindon Borough Council and us, as voluntary community people, are in that position now. Do we want to keep on banging about what happened before, what went wrong a year ago, 10 years ago? We're going to miss the opportunity if we do, because we've got this great willingness for the council to change. And our partners, the health, the police, the ambulance, the probation services, all of those people are in the same predicament. They're looking for a better engagement. And all of us here have that little bit of positive input that we can give them. So those services are changing. And I think, when you think of the people who stood here, other than David, who stood there, and there, but we had Diana from the Carers, who exposed a really complex problem of funding that carers have with hiring volunteers. David's research into the voluntary sector, we should all beg, steal, or borrow a copy of that from him and identify our voluntary organisation's key selling point and see what the target group is. He's done all the hard work, his organisation's spent a fortune getting it. If we could plagiarise that, and for our own voluntary organisations, pick out the little gems, those little diamonds that are tucked away in it. That could transform our organisations in these difficult times. Natasha, a key contact over at Nationwide. I mean, everybody should have been around and stolen one of their business cards by now. 2 days per employee a year. Doesn't sound very much, 2 days. You know, they've got 4,000 employees on site. And you've got people working there who are at the leading edge of technology, computers, systems-driven, organisational skills. I mean, just the sort of things that voluntary organisations have not got the time to do themselves, but would desperately love somebody to do it. Plug into Natasha. I was amazed at the hospital, the volunteers there, and Carol was really terrific in exposing all of that, how many they are, their commitment. To have volunteered for 30 years, as some people have, outstanding. And Kath came up to give us an explanation of how personally she did this walker routine. And that was the very smallest voluntary organisation, one person. One idea, one objective, she went out and did it. And then, of course, we finished with In the Flame. Really different sort of approach. And what are they trying to do? They're helping to solve our lost generation. You know, the thousands of youngsters who don't have a job, who struggle. The thousands of youngsters who've been to university and don't have a job and are struggling. And that's what they're doing. So I think today we've seen a real range of people, organisations with skills and how they go about doing it. And I think that's been really a fascinating thing for me, and I hope for you also. The final question. Is the Council serious about this new way of working? Well, those of you who know the Council from a decade ago will know that the Board of Directors probably couldn't fill this stage. So have they changed? Well, actually, there's 4 of them, of which 2 of them, that's John and Matt, our host over there, I'm sitting, somebody's moved, have specific responsibilities for you, communities, localities, volunteering community. Absolutely, Matt's whole future career depends on him working well. That's cheered you up, hasn't it? And I'm sure it has, because he's determined to make it work well. So for the Council to have changed and half its main board be dedicated to delivering what we want, our communities want, I think that's as good an indication that we're going to get that they're serious about this change. And I think, like that Truth and Reconciliation, we need to go some of the way to actually having our organisations ask itself, can we change and make a better job of this ourselves? And I think we could all say, yes it is. So, last words, I'd like to thank you all again for coming. I'd like to thank you for the time you've spent today, the input that you've given to some challenging questions that your table hosts have brought today, and I will sure we all look forward to the next conference early next year. Thank you all.